jump now to CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes with more on the effects of the shutdown. Nancy, good morning to you. Good to see you again. We know that thousands of flights are still canceled. Air traffic controllers still feeling stretched. So what is the new pitch from the administration, from the president, to possibly bring a fix that hasn't been thought of yet?
Well, the president made it clear in a post on True Social, Errol, that he is unhappy with the fact that some air traffic controllers have called in sick as an act of protest over the fact that they haven't gotten paid in several weeks. In a series of exclamation point filled, all caps descriptions of his plan, he said that he will give a bonus to people who did not call in sick, and that those who did nothing but complain and took time off, he is going to try to dock their pay, because you see it right there at the bottom of the screen. I am not happy with you. He then went on to elaborate on his plan in an interview with Fox News. Take a listen.
We have a lot of people want the job. What I was not happy when I saw all these people, oh, we have to, look, life is not so easy for anybody. Our country's never done better. We should not have had people leaving their jobs. And what I basically did is say the ones that stayed, of which there were a lot of them, I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace.
Now, it's not clear there is actually a mechanism for the president to penalize air traffic controllers in this way, docking their pay. It's also unclear how you would determine which air traffic controllers went out sick as a protest mechanism, and which simply actually were sick or had a sick child. Nevertheless, the transportation secretary, Errol, says that he supports the president's position that some air traffic controllers should get rewarded, and he said he's going to work with Congress to figure out how to do that.
I think that it's a difficult thing to comprehend, because none of us are in a position of an air traffic controller, right? None of us were in a situation where, some of us, the TSA agents and stuff like that, but a lot of us went on business as usual, and it's very difficult for us to comprehend missing almost 40 days. So I understand what the president is saying. I think that it should be more or less about making sure that the people that did stay got rewarded, because you can be incentive-based. But people that took this as an opportunity to protest, those are egregious situations, regardless of whether or not, you didn't get paid for the last 40 days. Because it's one thing to call off if you're not able to find a babysitter, or you got to go on hustle, you got to do that type of stuff. But people that specifically called off, making the country less safe from an air traffic perspective, and canceling flights as a method of protesting, and not because they actually needed to call off to do other things that were pertinent to their lives, is two separate conversations. And I plan on having this conversation on the Millionaire Morning Show. But the reality is that, when we sign up for the jobs that we do, we know what comes with it. If you decide to sign up for the military, you know that there's a sacrifice that you may have to make for your country, which is why we give so much grace and would lend love and acknowledgement and standing up for the flag for our military. It makes it disrespectful when people don't stand up for our military, right? For the national flag, to burn the flag, because these are the people that keep us safe every single day. When you sign up for, an air traffic controller, you understand that it's going to come with long hours, and you are highly rewarded. I hear that average air traffic controllers make anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 a year, depending on where you at and how many hours you work, and so on and so forth. When you become a police officer, right? And that's why I have the utmost respect for police officers that do things the right way. You are expected to operate with integrity. You're going to have to work some crazy hours. You're at the front lines of calling, when people call, and you have to sacrifice your family a lot of times in order to do the job that you do. It comes with the territory. It's not just about money. So again, I am very considerate, and I am very mindful of the idea that a lot of these people were struggling right? Because struggle happens to us all, and it's a hard job, similar to what the president said. A lot of these people were struggling to make ends meet, reasonable. But people that took this as an opportunity to protest, that's where it becomes a problem. And I applaud the president for, getting involved with what happens inside of the United States of America, not just hiding like Joe Biden used to hide, but actually participating in the success of our country and saying that he wants to reward the ones that held it down with $10,000 bonuses. I think that that's awesome.
And as the shutdown continues, so do cancellations and delays at airports across the country. The Federal Aviation Administration says a shortage of air traffic controllers forced them to cut thousands of flights just last week. Now take a look at this FlightAware misery map. Chicago, New York, and Boston, those areas are feeling the most impacts right now. Now we know there's several cancellations and delays nationwide. Earlier today, the president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association had this to say about the shortage.
Air traffic controllers and other aviation safety professionals we represent have now received two $0 paychecks, 41 days without pay. Controllers continue to show up and step up, despite working full-time during the shutdown and in many cases mandatory overtime. Controllers continue to show up and step up for the American flying public and for each other.
And just moments ago, President Trump weighed in on the absence of some air traffic controllers. He posted to social media saying, in part, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. He went on to say, in full, shortly into the future, I am not happy with you. CBS News national correspondent Meg Oliver is live at Newark International Airport in New Jersey. Meg, thank you for your time today. Travelers were told CBS News last week, I should say, that they were worried about returning back home, those flights, whether or not they would be canceled. Have you happened to see any of those concerns come to reality right now at Newark?
Mugo, good to be with you. That's exactly what is playing out here. It's pretty dead at Newark, but the cancellations are stacking up. And I just talked to one gentleman who was trying to get home to Fort Myers yesterday. His flight was canceled. He had to spend the night, another night in a hotel, and he's rebooked on a 2:30 flight today. So he's hopeful that he will get home today. So far, most of the flyers that have been coming in here, they're not seeing any cancellations, but they are starting to see some delays. Now, when this all started on Friday, when they started to reduce the number of flights, we saw those regional airports being impacted. A very different story is playing out across the country today with busier airports. Chicago, Atlanta, here in Newark, Phoenix, they're being impacted the most, not to mention that some severe weather is playing out in Chicago, also causing problems. So far, more than 1,600 flights have been canceled today. Not as bad as yesterday. More than 3,000 flights were canceled yesterday, but it's still early in the day, so we'll have to see how this works out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And good luck to that man you spoke about earlier. But what can people do to plan ahead of more cancellations this week?
Yeah, everyone, if you have a flight through this week, airlines are telling you that you can rebook. They're waiving cancellation fees and rebooking fees. If your flight does get canceled, you will receive a full refund. But as you know, we're getting closer to the busy holiday Thanksgiving rush. So a lot of people are starting to think about taking the train or maybe a bus, driving all together. We know there's a big demand right now for rental cars. So it's going to take days. There's a little hope that the shutdown will get resolved this week, but that's not a magic bullet. That's not going to happen overnight. This is going to take days for things to work.
Yeah, the shutdown is pretty much over. Within a week, we should have the government fully open again. But let me know what y'all experience is. I actually have a flight tomorrow, but I'm going international. I know that airlines, specifically Delta, is prioritizing international flights and then main hubs. So I shouldn't have a problem. And then when I get back, everything should go as planned and go well. But let me know if you guys are having any kind of problems. How do you feel about the $10,000 bonus? Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop.